My name is Ray. I'm a mental health counselor and a life coach. I primarily work with individuals who are struggling through anxiety and depression. And sometimes they come to me because of a life event, or they just want to start over, or they want to pivot, or they just want to stop suffering. And the message that I have seen over and over again in clients, and even the messaging that I once had in myself, is that our worth in life is attached to the successes we have in life, our relationships, our work, our children, what we post on social media. And therefore, our lack of worth would be anywhere that we deem there to be failure. The reality is, your worth is unequivocally, consistently, always. Meaning, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how successful your marriages or your friendships are, or how great your kids behave in public. And it doesn't matter how much content you put up, or the trophies that you won as a kid, or even if you pay attention or notice your worth in the day. It remains constant. And if we can begin to lean into this truth, our life can radically change. Because now I don't have to be burdened with the guilt and shame of saying, I can't do this today. Now, when I am late on a deadline, I can say, hey, reality is I'm not going to get it done today, but I can do it tomorrow. When I need a day of rest and I have to cancel social plans, I don't have to worry so much about if I'm going to be noticed as worthy or not, because I already am. And if that friendship cannot handle my authenticity, then the problem isn't me, it's the friendship. When we are able to understand our worth, when we're able to understand that our worth is consistent and full, no matter what, no matter if we notice it or not, the way we navigate relationships, life decisions, work choices can radically change. It's not motivated by guilt, shame, which therefore doesn't create resentment, anger, and hurt. If I can make decisions in my eye because I know that I am enough, I can find more peace. And isn't that the thing that so many of us just wish we could experience for a moment? Peace, contentment, instead of racing from one thing to the next in order to hope that we might be noticed as enough. This is the work that I do every day, not just with my clients, but with myself, to remind myself that I can say no and I'm still enough. I can fail and I'm still enough. And if I succeed, if I have a fantastic day, if I bring out a new client or I have content that has more than 10 views, I am just as worthy if I didn't. My worth isn't determined by that. That also makes the success sweeter, because then it's just success. It's not burdened with this necessity to prove worth. It's simply, I'm worthy, and whew, I had a really successful day. And on the days that are really hard, the days that the weight of our reality, whatever it is, doesn't allow us to show up in the way that we wish we could. It's just a little too heavy. We're moving a little bit slower than we might have wanted. We can't get to as many things as we hoped we would. Still worthy, still consistently the same as the success day. So here's what I want you to do. If this is something that you're struggling with, I want you to write it on your hand, or write it on a post-it, or write it on the mirror, or all of the above. Just, I am enough. Period. Final answer. Our worth is just so much more consistent than our ability to see it. And this isn't a pass or fail situation. This is a as best we can when we can. Notice that maybe our actions or our yeses or our thought patterns are out of gauge, out of alignment to the understanding of our worth. We can just pivot ourselves back in. Like, whoa, am I making this decision based on a hope that this person will like me? Or am I making this decision because I genuinely want to be there? I genuinely want to have that interaction and that connection and that experience. What would your life look like if you began to actually ask these questions? Is this something that I really want to do that's going to enrich my life, that's going to create joy? Or is this something I'm doing out of obligation and hope to be liked and hope to be noticed and hope to be deemed worthy by this person? Because I don't need that. I am worthy. And if my relationships, if my interactions with individuals is based solely on if I'm worthy or not, then all of a sudden I'm saying yes to things I don't have time or energy for. And then is that really friendship or is it a business transaction? Have you ever thought of it in that way? If we could take a step back and say, would this person still be here for me and with me if I wasn't the life of the party? If I didn't say yes every time they called? If I had to make an ask instead of creating an act of service for them, would they still be here? Because if not, then that is not a relationship. When we understand our worth, so many different things in our lives will either fall into place or fall off. And loss is not necessarily loss. When things shake away, it gives us breath and room to engage in the things that truly matter to us, to engage in the things that are actually causing and creating and inviting enrichment and peace and joy. I want you, as best you can, when you can, to engage in this reality, because whether you've noticed it or not, it's been here. That you are enough, that you are worthy, that you do not have to earn love. That's gross. That's unfair. And wherever that messaging came from, if it came from something that happened in your childhood, or a parent literally said it to you, or a relationship took a toll on you in a way that made you believe you are not enough as you are, I need you to know that all of that are lies. And while those experiences are not your fault, it is your responsibility to heal them. And you can start right now, understanding that if you say this sentence over and over again, it may not change it overnight, right? There's a lot that happens in that kind of wound. It's the wound that I've worked to help heal every single day. It's the wound that I call the worthiness wound. It happens to us somewhere along the way, whether directly or indirectly. We receive messaging that says, I must earn my love, I must earn my worth. But that messaging, it's ugly and it's broken because there's no end game. Beyond the fact that you're already worthy, there's no end game. It's constantly trying to do more and more and more. And it's a pile of yeses that are completely draining us of our ability to have authentic relationships, of our ability to find peace and contentment and genuine joy. This worthiness wound is rampant in our culture. And while it might not heal simply because I ask you to know that you're worthy, and while it may not dissipate because you're writing down, I am worthy, it's a start. And we have to start somewhere. Change rarely happens in big sweeping moments, but one grain of sand at a time. Use this grain of sand today. Until next